What I want to show you now is how to use a bait caster. Now the bait caster is the most effective way to cast a lot of your baits. Both for your crankbaits, your spinner baits, worming. It's a primary reel that most bass anglers will use. And the bait caster, this is a conventional type bait caster that has the ability to use anywhere from 15, I would say anywhere from 8 to as high as 30, 40 pound test. But on here we're going to be cranking today. So we've got this set up with 10-pound test. Now the 10-pound test gives me just enough depth in the water so that the bait will run at the depth that the bait's been designed to run. And we have a crankbait here. Let me just show you that. This is a crankbait with a deep diving bill. Now this bill here is designed to dive roughly somewhere around 12 to 15 feet with a deep diving bill. So we went and looked at on the sonar, and we saw that the fish are hanging somewhere around 15 to 25 feet. So this is going to get us down at the level we want to be able to capture, get the fish to come and bite. Now, when you get ready to use a bait caster, one of the first things I do is that I take a look at the reel, and this is the button used to release the line. I hold it with my thumb, so therefore I don't have the bait spooling feeding back. And then what I do, I adjust the tension spool, which is right here. I adjust that tension spool so that when I push the button, the bait doesn't free fall. Right now the button is engaged and the bait's not moving. You take a look at the bait there, the bait is still sticking there, standing there. All right? So when I push the button, the bait doesn't move. Now, at this point, what I want to do is to redirect your attention to the tension screw on the reel. What I'm going to do is back off of this just a little bit, holding the spool with my thumb until it moves. Now you see that the bait now moves every time I release my thumb. Let me reel it up for you. Now when I engage the reel, the bait now moves every time I release the tension off my thumb. So your thumb is very key to controlling how fast your spool spins when you're throwing a bait caster. Whereas in your other traditional reels, like your spinning bait caster where you have the push button, or your original reel like your Zepcos or 203s or 303s or 404s, those types of reels are designed so you can push the button, and those mechanics are happening behind the scene, and you don't have to worry about that. But with the bait caster, you, the angler, really have control over how the bait enters the water, how hard it hits the water, and as well as how far you're going to throw the bait. So it gives you more control, and it gives you more, basically use of your bait whenever you throw it. Now, to get ready to throw the reel, what you want to do, push the button, hold your thumb, and then just feed out just a little line. If you take a look here, I have about maybe a foot of line that's extended out here. Look at the bait there, you see, and this gives me a little pendulum swing. And you see how the rod kind of bends. I'm using this is a 5-to-1 ratio reel with a fiberglass rod. Now fiberglass is what you want to throw using a bait caster, because it's going to allow the bait to have more flexibility and allow the fish to grab the bait without snatching it out of the fish's mouth. Whereas graphite will cause, when the fish loads up on that tip, it'll snap back. Where with fiberglass, it gives so that the bait will not come out of the fish's mouth the moment the fish try to grab the bait. So this gives you that flexibility, and it also gives you more sensitivity when you're throwing the bait. Now, when I get ready to throw the bait, we're going to throw the bait out here and see how it works. Now, what I want you to do is take a look at my thumb first of all. When I get ready to throw the bait, I throw the bait, controlling it, and then I stop it with my thumb. And the bait now lands on top of the water, over here. And you see where the bait, now where your rod tip goes, so goes the bait. So I'm gonna bring it in. And you notice when I retrieve how the rod bends as the bait goes underneath the water. All right, now we're gonna cast over here, and I'm gonna just show you. I cast, I stop. Now I'm gonna crank and bring the bait fish, the lure, through the water as I crank it, and it's diving deep, giving me the depth I want, presenting the bait where the fish are, and the bait comes out. So when you get ready to cast again, hold it, stop, and you notice there's no backlash. Backlash comes from when the bait hits the water. It's kind of like throwing it against the wall and you let the spool keep spinning, then it's going to backlash. So you, the angler, when you see that bait hit the water, hit it with your thumb to stop the bait from moving, the reel from moving. And that way the spool will stop spinning and you won't get the backlash. But if you throw it out there and just release your thumb, it's spinning too fast and you're going to get the backlash. So you just want to let it feather lightly underneath your thumb so you don't get the backlash. All right, so let's try it again. This time we're going to go back and actually fish this bait in an area where I think there's some fish that's here. We just got to get them to strike. So we're going to fish this bait a little bit and just show you. And what I just want you to focus on is watch the mechanics of using a bait caster. We're going to turn and face this way here. We're going to work our way back. Now, if you notice, you look at the water, you see how the current is kind of coming in direction of the boat. Well, any bait fish out here that is going to, is in the water, is swimming in the direction of the current. So we're going to run our lure in the direction of where the bait fish are coming from. So it gives it a much more natural appearance in the water as it comes this way. We're fishing on this point here, and this point is going to give us, should have some fish hanging off of the ledges here. And hopefully we'll catch one for you so you can see it. Now, when I run this bait, I sometimes bring it straight back to the boat. Sometimes I pause it and let the bait stand still in the water for a minute, and then I bring it on in. We're using a 7-foot Dowel rod and a Millennium reel with a gear ratio of 5-to-1. You don't want to have anything higher than a 5-to-1 because it will cause the reel to move too fast. So if you have like a 3-to-1 reel, the bait will move too fast through the water. And even if you crank it fast, you won't be able to move it as fast. So hopefully we'll catch us a fish here so you can see it in action. And see, sometimes you have to change up on the lures. Right now we're using chartreuse and blue, which is a good color this time of the year. But if it doesn't work out, we'll change it, maybe use a bass color, or either something off-white or something chartreuse and white. We're going to try a couple of different lures and see if we can get a strike at it. We're right now in about 18 feet of water, which is a good depth. We're on the main lake point, right by the river current. Now the river channel runs right over here, so we've got a drop off of about 70 feet of water, 50, and then on up to about 20 feet of water. We'll see what we can get going here. changing the action a little bit by jerking it, taking up the slack, giving that bait a little bit more time in the strike zone where those fish should be. I feel that over there where you see where that you have the ledges here, the ledge rock, limestone rock, and then you have the gravel. I think those areas may produce fish better because it shows the transition. We're going to make a pass back through there. Hopefully we can put one in the boat for you. You see that rod tip bending down. Here again, look at the mechanics of throwing the bait caster. You let the rod do its thing, you let your finger do its thing. You notice the boat doesn't have to move. None of that has to happen. There should be something in here. You got gravel. See how that little gravel over there? That's all conducive to producing some smallmouths and some largemouth bass. They like that kind of pea gravel over there. When it hangs up like that, just shake your rod a little bit and it comes unloose. You don't even have to grab the hook. And so you want to just make a light entry into the water, no splash. Here we got a little lay down, we've got some sticks and some logs in the water. And get right on back. Ideal spot right there. See, we're gonna finesse it through that tree. Woo! You see that? That was textbook, y'all. Finesse it straight through the tree on a bait that's got umpteen hooks on it. Look how many hooks that thing got. Any one of those could have caught that tree. But we worked it right around there, checking to see if there's any fish home. That's what you want to do. Now getting hung with a crankbait is all right, because that means you got the bait in the area it needs to be, but you don't have to lose the bait. That's the key. You might get hung, but you don't have to lose the bait. I'm gonna work it around this tree here. We're gonna find out if there's any fish around this tree. Now, because there's not one home that's gonna come out and grab that bait, that's a good spot. I'm gonna throw up a head here. See if we can find a good spot. See how the little dark spot coming out of that, from underneath that rock, that big rock there? Fish will hide underneath there, waiting to ambush. So if they were underneath there, they would stay there and just dart right out and grab the bait. They're not gonna waste a whole lot of time or energy. We're gonna just bring it right on by their house where they're living. See if they want to come eat what we're offering. Got a good little wind now, so you want a little wind like you got the little chop on the water now. That's what you want when you're throwing a reaction bait, because it's going to give you the ability for the bass to sneak up on the bait without the bait seeing them coming. Can't imagine we have not gotten a fish here. We're gonna go and try this one log over here one more time. I think what I'm gonna do is change up crankbaits real quick. It's a nice, colorful one. We'll change it, go to something that's not as colorful. It blends in a little bit better. We're gonna throw a sexy shad on here. This is a sexy shad. This one right here. See, it's a little bit whiter bait. Just a little chartreuse line. That's all we got. Make a quick cast over there in that spot. See what we can get. Ooh, that's textbook right there. Textbook. We got another little branch over here. Gotta be some fish around these branches. Can't imagine it's not one. Stop it right where you needed it to go. Made a fire. This is 30 feet of water right now. This is a good depth. Fish can hang off. Get up there, you can grab something, go to deep water. This is 30 feet right here where we're sitting, so even though that looks shallow over there, I'm going to bring it right over there, right off the back. Alright, we got it past the lid. Sometime when you do that, it'll get boogered up, but you just unhang it, go right back in there. So you got to kind of feel for the strike. Just because you feel a little tug doesn't mean you got a bite. All thing you're doing is just hooking your bait into the log or whatever it is, tugging. So I just hesitated just a little bit just to see what was going to do there. But nothing was home. That's a good one. See, right out of that by the bait. Nothing was home. You see that overhanging limb there? See, with a bait cast, you can get right over it, right inside of there, and place your bait right where you need it to go. Whereas other types of reels, you can't control your line as well. So you have to kind of fish wherever it lands. So the bait cast will give you that option to put it right where you want it, right underneath that limb. See how we got underneath that limb? There's fish waiting underneath there to eat. So we're going to find them. Now what we're going to do, the next segment, if we don't find any fish that want a crankbait, see, I'm on the other side of that log. See how it came over that log? I don't know if you saw that or not. But it came right over the side of that log. We're going to come back in here with a worm. Try this with the worm. Now, you see how we're parallel to the shoreline? Anytime you have this opportunity, you can go straight down and run parallel to the shoreline, just like bait fish would run. If there's fish hanging underneath those ledges, they're going to dart out and grab that bait if they want it. That's a good long cast. We're in about 20 feet of water, and it drops off to 70. So this is a good little ledge for them to sit on. We'll get one over here in a minute. not cooperating today. You notice I went out and I'm coming in a little bit closer just to see where they are. Change up my cadence a little bit just to see what's going to work. Because when you're fishing, you are fishing. You're not catching. So you change up your retrieve. Now you see it was about to go into those logs. I was able to bring it back, stop the spool, prevent myself from getting hung up. So again, what I'm saying is that you have a lot more control over your whole fishing by using the baitcaster. You're in charge.